Steve has quit doing his radio show. The only two shows he'll do are this one and George Schnorri's. We're honored to have him. He's going to pop back in next week with us. I want to go to your calls in this segment and the next. Before he leaves us, I want to get his take on Holdren's eugenics Bible, White House Science Czar. I mean, they have a history of this. They've been caught doing it, and clearly this flu is just a hoax unless they release something more deadly to get the public to take the shot. But they're certainly using it to federalize and internationalize and take over. So that's coming up. Right now, we've got Steve in Chicago. Steve, you're on the air.
Yes, Alex and Steve. I don't know if you followed it, but Mutual Bank, that was a local chain with branches in Texas, was closed in the Chicago area. Significance is that they originated through Tony Rezko, Obama's mortgage. So they announced it at 6 o'clock on Friday. I have money there as a deposit.
I'm going to let you go, Steve. I expressly ask callers to call and ask. You know, we're hurtling towards September and October and November and December. They're openly saying lockdown, troops on the streets, forced inoculation on CNN. Obama is a puppet. He's dropping like a stone. That's why they're going to stage something. And I just asked you to call in about the big, serious issue. Okay? No more of this, callers. When I have a special guest on and we're covering a specific issue and I open the phones up, I'm not going to do it. Stan in Missouri, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Steve and Alex. I believe that our own worst enemy is going to be in our own home, because I'm going to tell you why. I believe a lot of your relatives are going to try to coerce you in taking these flu vaccinations, and I want Steve's take on this.
Well, I mean, I believe the literal scripture that says the enemy of a man's life are going to be those of his own household. What happens when a husband won't and a wife will? What happens when the kids can't go to school? Because, and let me make the plea to everyone, do not sacrifice your family or your children or any loved ones for convenience. Get out of the necessity to be where you're not going to be able to be if you don't get the flu shot. Take your life into your own hands. But I agree with you, caller. I've watched it happen too many times, even in my own family with a former son-in-law.
Well, they know how to scare people. They know how to create hysteria. They know how to create fear. Thank you, Stan. Great point. And to create that stampeding, that herding the people over the edge of the cliff. That's why before we get into that area, and Steve's right, it's happening now, the fear-mongering, the hype by the enemy. We're saying be scared because we know their shots have been deadly. We know they engineered the swine flu outbreak from the military base with inoculations in 76. I mean, even 60 Minutes admits that. I mean, what we're telling you is a fact. Don't take the shots, folks. I mean, what happens when real flu deaths start by the tens of thousands? They're going to hype it. If they almost had total lockdown over a couple deaths, what's going to happen with thousands, Steve?
Well, here's the deal, too, Alex. I don't think people understand that in the chemtrail spraying that's been gone on, which is not BS, it's real, and there are multiple factions incorporating multiple projects within the chemtrail spraying, is that would be the preliminary, if you will, poison to be followed by a secondary or a tertiary injection. People have got to ask yourself, why are they saying that some kids will have to have 4 different shots? I absolutely am appalled, and it's abhorrent to me as a human being that these devils, these monsters, would use children as guinea pigs, and not just your kids or my grandkids, but everybody's kids. And we are not fit to be called human beings, and we are not fit to be called parents if we sit by and do nothing. Now, if the kids are old and they take that against our counsel, then that's in God's hands. But the bottom line is, Alex, this is not just the flu. Here's what I want everyone to start thinking of. Think of the word viral cocktail, and it will be more accurate than H1N1 or H1N5.
Well, think about this. They're saying they want to give people all these experimental shots. It's already going on, already killing people, already causing adverse reactions. The Gardasil's killing a bunch of people. They don't care. Bayer shipping out HIV and shots, killing people. They don't care. Bird flu vaccines, killing people in mass. Mainstream news, the media goes, oh, that's no big deal. That's acceptable losses. Meanwhile, I mean, this is just so incredible to see. They admit it's mutating in the people and could create something. Do they know this is designed to mutate into something deadly? Because normally a virus mutates into something harmless or less harmful. How can they be saying for a certainty it's going to be devastating? I mean, that shows it's engineered.
It does show it's engineered. Let me just put everyone into perspective historically. When mad cow disease first became of any concern to anyone, I started saying, listen, it's a bioweapon. Here's the history. It was basically designed from something in New Guinea called Kuru. The headhunters who would eat their fallen enemies, they were developing a form of spongiform encephalopathy. That was taken to the U.S. military's bioweapons development program. The bottom line is, Alex, what they're going to pour out on people, and literally pour out in whatever manner, way, shape, or form, is going to be a viral cocktail, and it's going to be so horrifically lethal that it would not surprise me.
Well, look, it's also going to be soft kill, a lot of it. People are dying of cancer at age 5 now. They're getting Alzheimer's when they're 30. I mean, people are dying left and right. They are doing it.
Are you concerned for the safety of your loved ones? Listen closely to this message from pepperspray.com. Every 22 seconds a violent crime is committed. America has changed, and your personal safety is your first priority. Be smart. Be safe. Trust Pepper Spray instead of your luck. Pepperspray.com is the only website you'll ever need for all of your non-lethal self-defense supplies. Pepperspray.com carries one of the largest assortments of pepper spray and personal safety products on the web. From big to small, we have it all. Pepper spray, mace, animal repellents, stun guns, and tasers. Pepperspray.com also carries a large assortment of products for personal, home, child, and pet safety. Enter SAFE in the coupon box and you'll receive a special discount off of your order. So what are you waiting for? Go to pepperspray.com. That's pepperspray.com or call 1-800-908-9988 today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Quayle will be joining us next Wednesday at high noon Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. his time, Mountain. SteveQuayle.com is the website. SteveQuayle.com. We'll give you that spelling here in a moment. We also have a link to it up on Infowars.com, and he's not pumping it, but he should be. We'll talk about some of his books that he has written specifically on all this. Holdren is proposing chemtrailing to save the Earth's atmosphere. They're already doing it, and that's what's causing the droughts. That's been proven. I've had the father of weather weapons on. The father of weather weapons that AP and Reuters has met is the father of weather weapons, documenting what they're really doing. I want to go back to your calls. Mark, Andy, Tim, Rich, 633 or efoodsdirect.com. I believe in all this. I mean, I'm trying to find a little piece of property, but I can't really afford anything. So we've got an East Texas ranch I can try to run to. I don't know if I'd make it through the checkpoints. You got to kind of move your family out before this happens. I've got storable food. And folks, I know this is real. They could be beta testing to set the precedent for forced inoculations and federal lockdowns and fear mongering for events in the future. But I've never seen such a real-time buildup and a hustle to get the troops and police state and brainwashing and fear mongering in place. Going back to Steve Quayle. Steve, we have limited time here, as you know, my friend.
One of the things, too, I want to just really say, okay, one of the books that is absolutely important to understand what we're talking about that I wrote is called Weather Wars on Unnatural Disasters. They can get it by, calling my store, 406-586-4840, 406-586-4840, because what's going to happen, Alex, they're tuning in and turning up the power on all of their ionospheric heaters. That's not just HAARP, okay? What happens is they can electromagnetically attenuate the virus, okay? Massive studies, people can go do their homework. I've done mine. So we're talking about something that is the combination of Ebola pox, that's Ebola and smallpox. We're talking about combinations of the Spanish flu, 1918 influenza, and we're talking about when I hear a doctor or a nurse say, but we've never seen it before, I ask them, why is that? And they shake their head. They don't know. My simple answer is because it has not existed before.
Well, that's how you and I knew this was manufactured day one, was because it had never before been seen. The regular flu viruses always have a lineage. This was brand new, and now we were proven right. Top virologists are saying it was made in a lab.
Right, and when they knock off, can I tell you something? The biggest story of the decade, in my opinion, was the dead scientist / the murder of Dr. David Kelly. I was on with George Norrie the night Dr. Kelly, or the day he was killed, but of the night, and I talked about it. And I got emails, how do you know that? You can't know that. The press would pick it up before you do. Oh, yeah? Now, Alex, 4 years later, however many years later, now they basically have got all these inquests, and you know what it's coming to? It's coming to a certain government basically killed him to keep him from warning the people of a certain government's population going to be decimated by genetically altered pathogens that are going to be released both in Britain and in the United States. Let me share this. There is nothing about the flu that's the issue, in my opinion. The thing that's the issue is the biologically, genetically altered viruses that have been gene spliced to produce literally the most deadly viruses. And when you see anything crossing species, you know that humanity is involved. God himself set boundaries for everything. These people who hate God, they break every boundary known to man and known to God. The bottom line is that they have access to.
Well, Steve, if we've had this history of them sterilizing people, injecting them with syphilis, Tuskegee, radiating foster kids, how would anybody trust the vaccine industry or the government hyping this and then saying the Army is going to forcibly inoculate us? I mean, on its face, it's crazy.